Ever wonder how you'd stack up against Phil Laak, David Williams, or Phil Hellmuth? Would they steamroll you, or could you hold your own? Meet David Fishman, a math teacher and cancer survivor who didn't just survive the high-stakes stage, he dominated, taking home hundreds of thousands. His story proves, given the right opportunity, even an amateur can take down the pros. Stick around to the end to see a move so rare, it's been studied in poker books since the 1990s. Who is David Fishman? On the popular poker show, The Big Game, David Fishman was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. $100,000 to take on some of the game's biggest pros. But how did he land this incredible shot? And what's his story?
You are a cancer survivor. How has that changed your outlook on life?
It just makes me want to live every single day to the fullest. I just want to go out there and live my life as best I can.
You said that this isn't about money for you. This is about fulfilling a dream.
More so than anything else, absolutely. And the money would be nice. I have 2 kids I want to support. But since I started playing poker about 10 years ago, I've always just wanted to sit down at a table with one pro.
Well, look what you have.
Now I got this. It's awesome.
All right, good luck today, okay?
Thank you very much.
He comes across as a nice guy, but looks can be deceiving. Just wait until you see him in action at the poker table. Right out of the gate in his very first hand, David takes a below-average hand and plays it flawlessly against none other than Phil Laak.
Looks like he wants to play.
He limps.
Not crazy about that limp.
I don't like your outlook right now. Williams calls. Laak calls.
So the damage that I had,
Joe's in.
Dislocated elbow, shattered wrist, trigeminal nerve damage right here, 35 stitches around my eye, and actually I'm getting surgery to I check my...
Phil checks to Joe, who checks.
The orbital plate that's holding my eyeball in is kind of like broken, and some of the fat from my eye is sinking down, so they have to put a plate in. Call.
Do you have insurance? Health insurance?
It's really amazing. I let my insurance dry up, and I've just been paying cash out of pocket, and I'm surprised doesn't hurt. The bills are not like, it's not super sick, you know?
Meanwhile, the loose cannon David Fishman has semi-bluffed the flop.
32.
And fires again.
I'm like a pretty bad 6 things happened to me, broken rib and lots of, I don't know, I've just been paying out of pocket. It's not that bad.
If Laak thought his 9 was good enough to call him the flop,
3,200.
then not much has changed here.
He calls again.
Captain calling the calling station. Hailing all frequencies.
Ace of hearts on the river. Laak checks.
See if David can fire the 3rd photon torpedo or checks his way into the escape shuttle.
10.
He fires 10 grand.
I didn't love the pre-flop limp, but this is a very nice 3-barrel attempt early on.
I don't have a 10, and you're betting 10. That's probably a bad spot for me to be in. Oh, but I love calling, as Perkins knows, you know? If I fold, you're gonna show, right?
You want me to show?
Yeah.
First hand I'm in, you want me to show?
Yeah, if I fold.
You're gonna pay it.
Nah,
You can't pay it.
I don't know. We'll see.
If I show, will you show? I'm folding. I fold. I fold.
He folds.
Now if I show, will you show?
No.
Fishman takes down the pot.
If that was a bluff, sir, that was a well-bowled bluff, because I did not have a 10.
Good move, loose cannon. No free healthcare, no free information.
David not only bluffs a pro for $10,000 on TV, he makes the smart move and doesn't show his cards. Let's learn a little bit about David and his math background, a skill that notoriously lends itself well to poker players.
So I teach math at Arizona State University. Go Sun Devils. Being a teacher in today's society is not the easiest thing. Don't get paid an excessive amount. Lately, in my home state of Arizona, there's been a lot of budget cuts. I actually got furloughed last year, took a big hit to my paycheck. So this opportunity to supplement my income and then some is definitely an opportunity that can't be passed up. I got to go sit with those guys and do everything I can to grind my way to a big payday. I've been married for 8 years this coming October to my beautiful wife, Stephanie. So I met my wife online through an online dating service, and actually you have to pay a subscription in order to be able to even write to people on there, and I decided I never wanted to do that until I read my wife's profile. I paid the $20, and I wrote to her and said, I just spent $20 to write to you and nobody else, so you better be worth it. And best $20 I ever spent. And now we have two beautiful kids, twins, boy and a girl, and I'm here to play for them.
Let's get back to the poker action. Our next hand adds an extra layer of excitement. All the pros cards are hidden from the audience, so you get a front row seat in what it would be like to play against the pros.
All right, action begins on Phil Hellmuth. He raises to 2,000. See what we got. King, queen.
We can definitely call and try to see a flop here.
That's what we do. Perkins folds. David Williams calls. Locks in. Cat is out.
Joe Cat, world champ, ladies and gentlemen. World champion.
Knitting it up.
Folding like the best of them.
Flop. We got top pair.
Obviously, we don't like the multi-way action, but this board is drier than Las Vegas itself.
Action is checked on over to the cannon.
5,000.
You like the bet?
I do. Even if we get raised, we're probably going to stick around.
Williams folds.
With Laak's range against us, I'm not too afraid of what he has here.
I'll give you a second chance to answer that question, though.
He usually doesn't talk when he's in hands. He's all business all the time.
Phil? I'll always razz him in every hand.
Oh, I love it.
Until he stops calling me.
David's politely trying to tell Perkins to zip it.
Laak raises to 15,000.
I'm in the middle of a pot. It's kind of not very appropriate to be talking to me right now, but I guess you're an amateur, so it's all right.
I am an amateur.
The pro folds.
You're a professional. I know you're very proud of that.
Okay, so obviously we don't like the raise. It's possible that we're beat, but with top pair, we pretty much just want to get to a cheap showdown.
Yep, there's the call.
We've got Laak's attention now.
Deuce of clubs on the turn.
Check.
Laak checks.
I don't think Phil is raising us with a deuce, so I'm okay with that turn card. If we are ahead, he didn't catch up.
All right, we check. 6 of diamonds on the river.
I like our check on the turn because we got raised on the flop. Now, it's hard to think this 6 really made Phil's hand. Since we did check on the turn, even if Phil bets here, we should be prepared to look him up.
Phil's got chips. Nervous?
We'll see how big the bet is.
I check.
He checks. Shows the cannon.
Check.
And shows. Let's see what Laak's got. He was bluffing.
Wow, he raised us on the flop with air. You can't push us around.
And the cannon picks up a pot of nearly 40 grand.
You might have got called
Should have
again.
pulled the trigger, Phil.
I think you got called. I think you would have got snap called.
Well, now you can add bruised ego to Laak's list of ailments.
David outmaneuvers Phil Laak at every turn. First by bluffing him, then by letting Phil fire tens of thousands into a pot on a stone-cold bluff. The result? A $40,000 win. That's enough to fund a whole lot of math tutoring sessions. Enjoying the video so far? To never miss an epic poker story, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. David's next hand is short but sweet. He picks up a premium hand reminding us even big winners need the cards to go their way.
Kata
1,200.
raises to 1,200. Hellmuth folds. David Fishman, big slick.
Big slick in position.
Make a pot.
Fishman re-raises to 4,800.
It's a good re-raise in position so you can get the pot heads up.
Perkins folds. Williams, ace 9. He folds. Now back to the original raiser.
Kata knows the loose cannon isn't likely to be messing around with anything that isn't beating 6-5. And your implied odds with 6-5 aren't great either.
And the world champ folds. So Fishman wins without even seeing a flop.
I had a hand, too.
If by hand you mean that you had 2 cards, then yes, Phil, you did.
Poker's fun.
Enough of the small pots. It's time to see David Fishman crank up the aggression against a seasoned pro. This time he's facing off against David Williams, a player with millions in tournament earnings and a reputation for being one of the toughest competitors at the table. Will the experienced pro put an end to his hot streak? Let's find out.
Action on the cannon, looking at queens.
Hello, ladies!
Fishman raises. Perkins folds.
Did you fold already, man?
Insta.
10 deuce suited for Williams. Re-raises to 5,200. Laak and Kata fold.
Williams is trying to isolate the loose cannon.
Back to me. 52 total.
To me, when someone asks if it's back on them, it's the biggest tell in the world.
Fishman calls.
Almost like it's too good to be true for it to be your turn again.
The flop. 5-4 tray, open-ender for Williams. Action on Fishman, who checks.
You'd think he'd want to bet that flop and not let D-Dub get a free card, but he's playing in flow and checking to the razor.
Williams actually fires 7,800.
Despite his name, I can't imagine Fishman would fold here.
Make it 15.
He re-pops. Actually, it's 15-6. That's the min raise.
This is a small value raise, and Williams does have the odds to call.
And David does.
Both players trying to get a read on the other right now.
The turn, King of Hearts.
Fishman does not look happy about that king.
And checks.
You have to wonder if Williams picked up on that.
Fires 20,000.
Looks like Williams realized what a great card this is to bluff at. This is the biggest pot so far for the loose cannon, and he doesn't even have an overpair anymore.
Wow. For some reason, that was the one turn I didn't want to see. Or did I?
If Fishman's face or hesitation didn't give it away that he didn't like this king, his talk sure is.
Now I don't think you have it anymore. Wow. Why am I changing my mind?
We've seen a lot of loose cannons get bluffed by the pros and lay down big pocket pairs in spots like this before.
Fishman calls.
He's made the right call.
The river, 7 of clubs. Fishman checks.
Fishman checked pretty confidently there, and he called a big bet on the turn. Let's see if Williams fires another bluff here on the river.
He doesn't. And Fishman shows the winner. And this hand now puts David Fishman as the most profitable loose cannon by 8,800 over Nadia Magnus.
I was sure David had nothing too.
I have nothing.
David Fishman is on fire, placing bold bets, calling massive ones, and proving he belongs at the table. With a solid lead, he wisely shifts into cruise control, folding hands and waiting patiently until the next opportunity comes his way.
Fishman on the button, calls. Perkins calls as well. Ace deuce suited for David Williams.
Williams is out of position, but he's got a suited ace and an edge on at least 2 of his opponents.
And now there's a 4-person pot to the flop, 9 tray 8. No one connects. Action on Perkins, who checks. Williams checks. Kata checks his gut shot.
Looks like Fishman may have it in mind to play his position here.
36.
Bets 3,600, also with a gut shot.
Perkins stacking chips.
How much you got left?
Over 100.
100 and what?
I don't know. So what was
I'm just kidding. I just want to see your face.
Perkins folds.
Hilarious.
So's Williams, so's Kata.
Just to see if you get a little nervous.
Semi-bluff works for the loose cannon. And since Amanda doesn't want to do it, I'll give you the rules of the big game.
Things are truly working out perfectly for David. Think you can play as good as David Fishman? Well, now's your chance, as all the pros' cards are kept secret, so you can play as if you are in the hot seat.
Cannon is under the gun. Ace-king suited.
Under the gun, the cannon's range is very narrow, but slick suited falls into it.
Raised to 1,200. Do you like it?
Okay with it so far.
Bill Perkins. It's been very active all week. Calls. Williams folds. Phil Laak. Out. Same with Kata and Hellmuth.
Hello, Mr. Loose Cannon.
Hello, Mr. Businessman.
Perkins is a bit of a wild card, so Fishman's still probably way ahead of his range.
Tray king 8, top pair for the cannon.
Fishman should c-bet and let Perkins call on a float or a small piece like he's been known to do.
There's a bet of 2,500.
Trade commodities, but I also make movies sometimes. Do you like action or comedy?
Me?
Yeah.
I like grade D horror movies.
Be afraid.
Perkins with the min raise.
Be afraid.
Be very afraid. Haven't made a horror movie yet.
The min raise is actually a little horrific since every time he's min raised, he's had the winner.
Fishman called. 7 of spades on the turn.
I'm okay with keeping the pot small here.
There's a check by Fishman.
I like it.
Perkins, a commodities trader and movie producer.
All right, after. Okay.
Checks.
What kind of movies have you made?
8 of hearts on the river. Fishman, checks.
You hear a movie called Unthinkable?
Unthink, I've heard of The Incredibles.
Afterlife? It's on DVD now. Liam Neeson, Christina Ricci, Justin Long.
Haven't heard of it.
I don't really love the 8 since Perkins could very easily have one, but Fishman kept the pot small enough that he can call a bet here with 1 pair.
Perkins bets 6 grand. Fishman calls. Let's see if top pair's good.
This better not be a slow roll. That'd be truly horrific.
You like horror movies?
I do.
5s. Fishman takes it down.
That was horrible. By me.
David may have played that hand a bit passively, but when Bill Perkins's cards are revealed, it becomes clear that his approach was spot perfectly inducing a bluff from Bill. But if you thought that was impressive, just wait. In our next hand, David squares off against none other than Phil Hellmuth. And this time, it's the poker brat who gets a lesson in both poker and humility. Hellmuth is already on tilt before the hand even begins, though his frustration is initially directed at the other David at the table, David Williams. That is, until this hand unfolds.
That was a strong call, kid. So I gotta say, I'm folding that for 20.
Beat that one guy. Got the calling station as a jack.
The calling station. You're not David. You're the calling station. The businessman, the calling station.
He's the guy that's going to give me 50,000 for no reason, Dave is. Plays every hand.
That was 5 levels above me right there.
No. Actually, I never try to bluff David. I rarely do. But he's just a complete calling station. Dude, you're the biggest calling station at the table.
5 of hearts on the turn gives Hellmuth 2 pair. He bets 15 grand.
We know Fishman isn't getting great immediate odds since his pairs are still no good, but PH could be doing this with worse flush draws, and he's got enough behind for decent implied odds.
Add it all up, and Fishman makes the call.
He's looking for a club or a 10.
The river, there's the 10 completing the straight.
Fishman swims the upstream battle and runs down the great one.
Action on Hellmuth.
23,600.
Bets 23-6.
23,600 into a $45,000 pot.
This is pretty dirty. Fishman's reverse pedaling the nuts. Clearly, he's going to raise. The only question is how much, and can he get Phil to call?
I'm not gonna let you do this to me again, Phil. I can't let you do this to me again.
Leonardo DiCaprio could not be selling this any better.
How much you got behind? Was there an answer to that?
Like 85 or something.
I'm all in.
Fishman shoves.
He even fake hesitated. Watch that Oscar, Leo.
I'm done, Phil.
I see method acting, improv, pantomime. If Phil calls here, the kid stays in the picture.
This is so sick. I mean, is it possible that I just get cooled every hand I play here? You got king, queen of clubs? I mean, I guess so.
Phil's put him on his exact hand.
God, all that talking leads me to believe this. Wow.
Now, that might be real. I'd certainly be shaking either way.
All right, I call.
Hellmuth calls and sees king, queen of clubs.
Bingo!
See, if a club comes, I don't lose 1 nickel in this hand.
What a pot for Fishman.
I mean,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Can I even play in this game? I mean, what the they find? I mean, what the? I mean, how can I even play in this game? It's like I just get cheated. I mean, hand after hand after hand.
Don't blame the dealer. We all know it's the seat that's unlucky.
Give the amateur an offsuit 10, I don't lose one nickel if he hits a club. It's unreal. Where are these cards coming from? And you know what? I would have called him quicker, except he talked so much that I thought he was super strong. But I know he can't move in with ace-10.
That was a great read, by the way. You had